October 15th, 2022. At this time of the year, Wyoming teems with life. Bison, mountain lions, elk, moose and deer, grizzlies, and wild horses all roam the uninhabited wild land. To any nature lover, the majestic mountains and high plains are sources of beauty and serenity. To any hunter, Wyoming is a paradise promising exciting thrills. Now that hunting season is unfolding, many hunters, some more experienced than others, some on their own or accompanied by friends, seek to strengthen their connection with nature by temporarily becoming top of the food chain. Sometimes, however, their weapons and devices are no match to nature's own apex predators, and hunters become prey. Only luck, or maybe something more, can save them. It was Saturday after practice when the four friends decided to go shed antler hunting. Together, they picked the perfect spot for their adventure, somewhere near Cody, Wyoming, a few miles from the beautiful Bobcat Houlihan trailhead. Brady Lowry, Kendall Cummings, Orrin Jackson, and August Harrison were not only good friends and college mates, but they were also wrestling teammates. Together, they were a happy but also fierce and disciplined group of friends. It was a half-hour drive to the spot they picked. The foursome spent the day laughing and chatting, talking about their common passion, wrestling, and college. Though they were happy just to be together, the four young men didn't forget for even a second their true goal. They were hiking the South Fork, not just for its breathtaking scenery, but because they wanted to find some beautiful antlers. Moose, elk, or deer, it didn't matter, as long as there was some kind of big cast-off antlers involved. The four friends were well experienced in working as a team. Their years as wrestling teammates helped them get to know each other and develop trust in one another. They all knew there were some good people having their backs. The young men spent the day together in search for game, but luck didn't seem to be on their side. It was getting late. The cold was starting to creep in. The light was slowly fading, painting the scenery in shades of molten gold, soft orange, and vibrant green. It was a sight for sore eyes, but the group knew it was time to head back to their vehicle. As they were making their way down the mountain, Brady Lowry and Kendall Cummings were feeling disappointed. They really wanted their trip to be successful, and they weren't the type of people who easily gave up. Brady and Kendall told their friends Orrin and August that they wanted to look for sheds for a little longer. Maybe they'd miss something. Maybe they'd have more luck if they only spent a little time looking. The group then split, with Orrin and August heading to the car. Brady and Kendall were still excited, although their chances to find some worthy game were rather dimming. They kept walking, eyes glued to the ground. The earth was cold and covered with leaves, but surely they would find some signs of animal life. And signs they found. Brady stopped abruptly. The earth was covered in scattered bear droppings. He raised his head. Brady looked over at his friend, with worry written all over his face. "There is a grizzly bear here," the young man said. His words were still echoing when the massive beast charged out of the willows. Brady had no time to react. In an instant, there was only blinding pain, and the creature was raging with unprovoked fury. The animal was big, the man was sure of it. What he wasn't sure of, however, was whether he had any chance of survival or not. The bear tackled him to the ground. His jaws closed around Brady's arm. Then the bear bit. Hard. In an instant, the man's arm snapped. It was broken, stuck between the massive jaws of a grizzly bear. The creature didn't stop. It shook Brady around. Desperate, the young man curled up into a ball, hoping to protect his most vital parts, but the attack continued. A furious mouth with teeth sharp as daggers mauled his back, butt, and shoulder. For a moment, Kendall Cummings was watching helplessly. His good friend Brady was literally being bitten to pieces by a gigantic grizzly. It didn't matter that Brady was a wrestler. The bear was tearing through all 149 pounds of him. Kendall swallowed thickly. He didn't want to lose his friend, but he knew it was more than bad. It was horrible. He quickly had to make a choice. Either he ran and gave up on Brady, or he stayed and fought. At 141 pounds, Kendall wasn't a big man, but his loyalty and fierce spirit certainly made him look bigger. The young man threw himself at the bear, yelling. The bear didn't budge, though, undeterred by Kendall's attempts. It was too busy biting Brady. Desperately, Kendall grabbed the grizzly's fur and pulled hard. The bear was pissed. If its attack on Brady had been unprovoked, then this was personal. In a flash, it leapt, pinning Kendall full force to the ground. There was nowhere to run. The crazed beast started mauling Kendall's arms and face. It seemed like nothing could come between the bear and its prey, when suddenly, the grizzly simply stopped and ran back to the willows. Kendall didn't know whether he was still alive or not. He couldn't believe his eyes. The bear had left. It was baffling, but Kendall had no interest in finding out why. He just wanted to get the hell out of there. But first he had to make sure Brady was okay. He started calling out for his friend, but for a while there was no answer. However, Kendall had no time for worries. His were bigger concerns. The bear was back. It attacked him again, this time focusing entirely on the man's face and head. The dreadful teeth tore chunks of Kendall's cheek. When all seemed lost, miracles struck twice. Once again, the bear left for no obvious reason. Kendall painfully pulled himself up. He was bleeding from everywhere. His head and body were covered in deep lacerations, but he somehow gathered the strength to move. He started yelling for his friends, and this time, help was on the way. While Kendall was still fighting the bear, Brady reached Orrin in August. Together they alerted the authorities. Emergency dispatchers urged the men to head to a safe place and wait for help. But the idea of leaving Cummings alone on the mountainside was out of the question. Once they had coordinated a location for a medical helicopter to land, they headed up the hill to find Cummings. They heard yelling and soon reached their badly wounded friend. Together they slowly made their way to the car and waited for Park County's search and rescue. Kendall Cummings was then flown by helicopter to St. Vincent Healthcare in Billings, Montana. Brady Lowry was taken to Cody Regional in Wyoming, but was also eventually flown to St. Vincent. Both men experienced significant puncture wounds, cuts, and bruises in the attack. They had to get dozens of staples. Kendall Cummings suffered the worst of it. As of now, 5 days after the attack, his care team is still greatly concerned about the possibility that he will develop infection in his numerous wounds. All 4 of the men carried bear spray, but there wasn't enough time to use it. Instead, Brady Lowry thinks there are 3 main factors which made their survival possible. Firstly, he has one of the best friends a person could ask for. Kendall Cummings is definitely a hero, a person that chose to face great danger rather than abandon a friend. Secondly, all 4 of them have a strong bond, maybe due to their wrestling background. He believes they're all going to be best friends for the rest of their lives because of this terrifying experience. Finally, Brady believes there was something out there in the woods on that Saturday, something bigger than all of them, something that wanted them to live. As always, we'd love to hear your opinion on this story. What do you think saved the 4 young men?